What's up, traders? In today's episode, we bring Tom, the Kaizen trader, back in for another conversation. But this time, we're talking about self-confidence. Where does it come from? How do some of the best traders today have such high levels of self-confidence? We're going to talk about it. So Facebook off, cell phone down. Enjoy today's episode. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. In today's episode, we've got a special guest, Tom, in the building. Welcome back, brother. It's good to see you.
Thank you very much. Glad to be back on such a great show.
Yeah, absolutely. The views on the episodes are going up every week, everybody. We really appreciate you guys showing support for the show. Whether you're listening on Spotify, whether you're watching on YouTube, we're going to continue to try to bring you guys the day trading show, but in a variety of different ways, whether we're attacking technical analysis or we're attacking studying someone's success or maybe trading psychology. It's all going to piece together to help you guys improve your P&L. That is the number one goal with the show. So as we go forward, we want to bring on new guests and sometimes, like Tom, repeat guests. If you guys have anybody that you want to see on the show right now, put it in the comments, or if you'd like to reach out and say hi, DM us and let me or James know who you'd like us to interview or bring on the show. We just had Steve Burns on, Anthony Crudelli. We had Omar from he's blowing up on Twitter now. His Train and Trade is his company. We just had Jerome on recently. We're going to have Dennis on soon. So we've got a lot of people that we want to reach. And if you guys have any good ideas, we're always open to hearing that. But today we're talking about the power of self-belief. We're talking about the power of self-confidence. I just got back from Miami. We had the trading seminar last Friday. And this was like the first thing we talked about, because as we gain experience in trading and we study successful traders, the one thing, some come from a military background, some come from a technology background, some come from an athletic background. But the one thing that they all share is that they all believed in themselves, not necessarily when they were broke. Maybe they had some money from their other jobs, but when they weren't making money in trading, they believed in themselves. And that is what pushed them to reaching the point of success that they got to. So I think that all three of us bring a unique perspective on the power of self-belief, the power of self-confidence. And I think today what we're going to try to do is piece that apart. Where does the self-confidence come from? How can someone who is not self-confident step up, take control of their trading, and start to see a positive improvement, right? Whether you're a man, I was going to say be a man, but also women. We had a girl at our trading seminar too. So girls can step up and be the woman. You know what I'm saying? But let's jump in. I've got a good question to open us up here that, Tom, I'd like to hear your feedback from first. When you think of self-confidence, who do you think is the most self-confident person you know? Tom, who?
Who is the most self-confident person I know?
Stumped him on the first question, everybody. Stumped him.
Yeah, you have. Big time.
Come on.
I was not expecting that. So is that somebody like that I trade with, or?
Who's the, bro, someone came to mind already. Who is it?
So from a trading perspective, I think it probably does have to be yourself. I think you definitely believe in your ability more than most. I think you believe in your systems and your strategy as it is your strategy.
Okay.
So definitely
outside of trading. How about that? Athlete, leader, mentor. Who do you see as a self-confident
so it's probably
person?
like a bit of all of them. So he's like a mentor / brother / dad. So basically like my best friend, this guy's like 48, 49. So quite a bit older than us. And this guy's self-belief is unbelievable. And I look up to him an awful lot in how he conducts himself, and as a person, as a father, as a businessman, as everything. So yeah, this guy springs to mind. I'm not going to name him, but yeah, there's a guy
that's right there. Hold on to his thought for a second. James, who comes to mind for you outside of trading as a self-confident person?
My dad.
I was going to say probably your dad or Amanda's dad, somebody like that. So now when you both look at those people in your life, do you find that you study what they do well? And are you trying to take things from them that they do well to help you increase your confidence, maybe even without you really realizing it until I just asked?
Go on,
James.
James.
Go ahead, Tom.
So for me, yes, I absolutely quiz this guy every single week into his business, how to be a father, you name it. I am trying to get every bit of value out of this guy possible.
Sure. James?
Yeah. So my side, I've been fortunate enough, obviously, my dad being a successful businessman himself, and he grew up, his mom died when he was 7, and his dad died when he was 21. So he grew up kind of, going through life's difficult stages, trying to finish his degree off and then start a business, and through without really having any father figures. So I think when I was younger, I didn't really look at him. I knew that he was my role model, but I didn't look at him in a way that I do now and ask him questions and how did you overcome this, or how did you overcome this obstacle? And I think now that I'm starting to, get into my own business, in my trading business, and, just venture through life by myself, I ask him a lot of questions, and he's given a lot of great feedback. But yeah, you only start to realize it when you start to go and do your own endeavors, and life starts to become a bit tough yourself. So definitely, I'm very fortunate enough to be able to speak to my dad. We have a great relationship, and he actually just got off a call with me now. So yeah.
Do you guys think that was well said, James? Do you think that the idea of self-confidence is something that you have to actively practice to keep it at a certain level? Or do you think you're just innately at a certain level? Because both of you kind of mentioned, by these mentors, your dad and this other guy, Tom, you have to get something from them. You have to talk to them. You have to pull something from them in order to like get that motivation, get that self-confidence. So do you think there is any innate level that someone listening to this is born with a certain level of self-confidence? Or do you have to either get it from someone or experience success yourself first to then be self-confident? What do you think? Is it natural born, Tom? I'm just curious.
I wouldn't say it's like natural. I think it's definitely something that can be learned or developed over time. I think as well, even like these super hyper, like confident people and people with all this self-belief, they will still have moments where they're not, or they're feeling like a little bit low or not super, super confident. Right. Everybody's human in that aspect. So I don't think everybody's always up here, but I definitely feel that it can be learned and honed through whatever endeavor you're trying to be confident in. And I think the more you become an expert in a specific field, the more confident you get. And over time, it's interesting to see that both the people that me and James are talking about are people that are considerably sort of older than us in life. So it's definitely something I feel that grows with time.
Experience, like time, gives you wisdom and experience, and then that wisdom and experience kind of, I think, at least how I'm experiencing it as I'm getting older, I'm starting to just really realize that I know what I know, and then I don't know everything, and I stay away from the things that I don't know. For example, outside of trading, I don't own a home, but if I did and something like the roof was to break, I'm not the guy who's going to YouTube how to fix my roof. Yeah. I'm the guy that's going to call the guy and cut the check, because that's not my strength. So I know what I'm good at and I know what I'm not good at. And then I apply that same methodology into trading. I just got off a call with a guy who mentioned a different company, a good company that I would like, friends of mine. These guys are on YouTube, like they're good guys. And he's like, I was checking out their stuff and it just isn't precise enough for what I'm looking for. And that's why I was telling him ASFX could be a really good fit for you. And I think that when we got down to it with this guy that I'm speaking about in particular, it was very clear that his self-confidence had come from success in the Navy. So this whole direction that I'm taking this is like, I think there is something innate within you to make you have the confidence enough to try something, but I think you have to taste success at some degree to then double down on that and then to really start to feel confident. Because in today's day and age, every second on social media, you're comparing yourself to somebody else. But if you taste success for yourself and you have a little bit of self-awareness, you don't get caught up in that comparison as much, at least. And like you said, Tom, not everybody's on their A game every day, but I think if you're in your own lane and you've tasted success, it's easier to kind of remember those successful things and feel confident, double down on it. And that kind of goes into what we talk about in the Black Shirt Club. And the Black Shirt Club, if you guys don't know, is a private mentorship group that me and Tom and James run. It's a 12-week coaching program where we coach you through our trader improvement workbook. You trade with us every day, and we're really helping people get funded. Most people are trying to leave their job and scale up their trading. And that's what we've been able to do with the gentleman here. So we're duplicating that now with people around the world. But in that Black Shirt Club, that detailed documentation, that I think is where you see, this is hurting me. This is what I'm doing bad, but this is what I do well. So now because I'm tracking it and I'm seeing it and I see what I did well last week and I do that well every week, that is what I want to double down on, So I think you can track a lot of your trading build confidence in what you do well, and then also drop off what you don't do well. Wouldn't you guys agree with that? That's basically the whole point of the Black Shirt Club, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So let's go into a different direction with this now. If you think about self-confidence and you think about some of the most successful traders, who would be the first one? Because I have one that I don't think you guys will name. Who's like the number one trader that you would think that you've seen or heard about that is super confident in their conviction in their trade ideas? And what maybe have you taken from that? Do either you have somebody?
For me personally, I really love Anthony Credelli. He, not that we had him on the show the other week, but just I loved him before the show, and I love him even more after. Like the way that he speaks, he's very discretionary in the way that he trades, but he's just super confident in what he knows what he can do on the desk, and he knows what he does well, and he knows what he needs to when he needs to press, and he knows when he needs to back off. So for him, he's probably
That's a good one. What about you, Tom? Do you have somebody?
Yeah, so probably a little bit off piece for me, but I'm going to go with somebody that I follow on Twitter called Tom Dante.
Okay.
And he is a trader, the UK. He lives in the UK. He's been a prop trader for a while. I think he's a retail trader through Self now. Obviously, he's left the prop firm. And you can just tell by the way he tweets and the conviction on his trade ideas and the things that he says, that this guy is just in his lane. He is not afraid to call anybody out for any BS. He will put anybody to the sword. And I just think you have to have a immense amount of self-confidence to be putting yourself out there like that. And he's got it in abundance. And I admire it, because from coming from a professional background, you can't behave in that kind of way at times, and he doesn't. So yeah, that's one that is probably somebody that people haven't necessarily heard of. A great follow on Twitter.
Do you think that some of his self-confidence, or guys like that, have a lot of excess confidence because they come from a tough environment? I guess the better way to ask this question for both of you is, does the environment that you're brought up in potentially increase or decrease your self-confidence? Probably, right? Because of the people you listen to, the people you're around, that's going to either uplift you or take you down, right? Or is it an internal enough that it doesn't matter? What do you think, James?
No, I think you definitely, with what you surround yourself and what you listen to is definitely going to influence the way that you think about yourself.
Exactly.
If you're getting told negative things about you every single day, it's going to be quite, you got to have a tough mental to be positive with that. But if you listen to positive people, you surround yourself with people who believe in you, even if that's a handful of people, it doesn't have to be a lot of people. Rather surround yourself with those positive people. It's going to be a lot easier for you to be confident. But I also wanted to echo on something you said earlier, is that I think you get I don't think people are born with confidence. I think people gain confidence by achieving milestones in their career or achieving results. I think results breed confidence. Once you've done it before, you can do it again. I think that's what separates it.
Success begets success. I've heard that saying before. And I think that that's a big thing. You build on successes. There's always, at every level of you doing that, there's someone out there that will talk shit about you, but you've got to block that out and scream your success and motivate yourself off your successes so that you can keep going. I think that was something I struggled with, was like worrying about how people would perceive me. And I think it's something everybody struggles with. It's just about being aware of that and trying to act as if it's not there. It takes, I think that's why being self-confident sometimes is a courageous thing. It takes bravery to be self-confident. Like Tom said, Tom Dante will stand on his conviction, on his ideas. You know what I mean? I have a whole thesis that I was talking to somebody about yesterday about what's going on right now in the US economy and where we're going. And as I talk about it more and I do more research, I gain conviction in that. I gain confidence in that I'm willing to stand up on that. But that takes courage, right? It takes courage to be self-confident because you're putting yourself on the line to be wrong. So it takes courage and like no ego to really do that, to be confident.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. And one of the things that I was going to say that like I resonate with like really confident people is people that are willing to admit that they're vulnerable and they don't always know everything, or they're not always right, or they could do things better. Yep. And people that are willing to say, oh, I didn't do that as best I could, or I could have learned from that, I could have done better, are people that are confident because they have that belief in themselves that they can do it better next time. Yep. So by being vulnerable, you're almost being confident as well in the same time.
Can I stem off of that and add, being vulnerable in trading can be documenting all of your trades, taking accountability for every click of the button, and then doing that over a sustained period of time, like we do in the Black Shirt Club, and reviewing the mistakes, reviewing the repeated issues, reviewing the things that you do wrong, taking that, like I said, courageous step to stand on conviction, to take the trade and to mark it up and do the analysis, win or lose. And I think part of it too that we have to discuss is, if you're confident, you understand in trading, I think you understand that the outcomes of the trades are completely unknown. To understand that, you have to be trading a system and you have to have tested it, I think, or at least studied someone. Like in our courses, I show the testing so you can see the expectancy of that system. Does that make sense? Do you guys agree with that?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I think
so
definitely provides confidence.
Yeah, I think that so if for someone who's struggling to find confidence in their trading, journaling, studying, I mean, not just, I don't like the word journaling as much, tracking your trades, analyzing the data of the trades, I think is the first step to finding confidence. Figure out what you do well, right? And if you don't do anything well and you're losing money month on month, find a system, see if you can trade that well. Where's confidence isn't going to come from one random win, you know? We've all been there, but that's not going to be long-term confidence, right?
100%.
Yeah.
I think you got to, if you know what you're doing well, if you know what your stats are, like let's say, I know my win rate this year is 82%. So I know that 18% of the chance of the time I can lose. But if I know my average risk reward, I know my win rate, everything like that, you can put into a system. You can be confident. Okay, cool. If I place a trader, I've got on average 82% chance of winning. So you can have confidence in the stats and know over the long time you're going to be profitable, and you can have confidence in that.
Yeah. Were you going to say something, Tom?
So I was going to ask James a question, and probably going back to like his rugby days. Like, obviously, to get to the level that you got to, you've got to be pretty confident in your own ability. Other people have got to have confidence in your ability, whether that's your teammate, your coaches, etc. Sure. How did you, at certain times when, say, confidence was low, build your confidence back up? If you went through a slump for a couple of games,
you tore your ACL, right? How'd you? What made you want to come back and play after that?
Yeah, that's it. So that's a good question, Tom. I think
he stared himself in the mirror and he said, "Don't be a pussy, bro. We're going back."
It is really tough because now you don't have confidence in your left knee, for example. That's the thing that I need to do to run. You know, it's true.
It's funny because it's true, bro. You're like, I'm literally not confident to run on my leg, but I got to mentally get over that and get back out there.
Yep. I think for me, as Austin always says, don't try and reinvent the model. You look to other people that have done it before. So what I did is I looked at, I don't know if you know this guy, Adrian Peterson. He came back after tearing his ACL in his left knee, and the next season in 2012 was the MVP of the NFL.
Yep.
So I used to watch lots of those videos and just motivation. I was like, well, if he can do it, so can I. So I used to look at that, and then just from every single day being in the rehab and just rehabilitating the knee and getting back, and then slowly but surely you start to get confident again. It's like basically maybe you take a big loss on your trading account. Lower your size, start getting confidence back after 5-6 months, a year. It's what Tom Canfield spoke about after his big loss. He downsized his position sizing. He started to get confidence again. And then after 2.5 years, he was like, wow, okay, I guess I'm a day trader again, because he could, his lot sizes start to increase.
Right.
But I think it's the same thing. Like I started to get confident again after just repeated for 6 months. I didn't run for 6 months after post-op. The doctors at the Sharks didn't make me run for 6 months. And then afterwards I started to get confidence, and you just get confidence. And once you start to run on it and realize, I can do it exactly how I was doing it before, you build that self-belief back up.
But I think it's interesting. You said, if he can do it, I can do it too. That's it right there. That's the self-belief. Where does that come from in us? Because I think I say the same thing about anything, bro. Anything. If I see anyone do anything minus dunk a basketball on a 10-foot net, I think I can do it. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know the answer to where that comes from, but I would tell you for sure that I was not always that confident, and I surrounded myself. And like when I dropped out of college and my dad didn't believe in trading, no one really supported me being a trader or trying to figure that out. I surrounded myself with podcasts and audiobooks from Grant Cardone and Gary Vee and just drowned out the negativity with positivity that made me dumb in a way, dumb self-belief, give you that dumb sense of self-belief, blind confidence, you would call it, right?
Yeah.
But I think that is it. And that goes into the idea of manifesting, the universe and the life that you want. If you don't see it in your mind, it will never appear in your reality. It never will happen. You have to see it and believe it in your mind, whether you're a trader or in the NFL or in the rugby, whatever. You've got to believe. If you look at every trade you take, I really believe this, and you think I'm going to lose this trade, when you take the trade, you will lose more than you will win. That doesn't mean ignore your risk, but I think if you believe that the trade is going to be a loser, you'll find that you end up taking more losers. You know what I'm saying? But if you look for winners, you believe you'll find winners. If that's what your mind is set to, all of a sudden you start winning more trades with your system, of course. Yeah. So I think that's a really, really, really good question you asked there, Tom. That was well said. One more comment I'd like to make towards this with Tom Canfield and his big loss. For everyone that's listening, we are referencing the Trader Lion conference. It's a multi-day conference on YouTube. Just check it out on the Trader Lion page. It's very, very good. Really successful trader. Some of the market wizards are being interviewed in there, like just some legends, and then some new guys too. But anyway, Tom was talking about building back after that loss, building back his power of self-belief. He wiped out $500,000 on a trade. He was oversized in an hour, lost it in an hour.
Yeah.
So that's not firm money. That wasn't a prop firm. That was his money. Yeah. His wife's money, his living. So it was interesting to hear. Did you guys get to that part yet? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I've watched it.
I've read it.
So he took 2 separate trips to Colorado. Did it once by himself for a week, came back, tried to trade, still didn't feel right, still was chasing the money that he had lost. That's the big thing, chasing the money he had lost. Went back to Colorado for another week and a half or whatever, and then came back. And like you said, started day trading Apple at 100 shares and slowly started building the confidence back. But underneath all of that, he believed that he could get back. Otherwise, he never would have even tried. It would have beat him. That big loss would have been his defining moment. So it's like in the face of those big defining losses, that is where your self-belief will be tested the most, everybody. And I think that if you practice good habits, good self-belief practices throughout every day of your life, when you face that big fucking event, whether it's the death of someone, you have a heart attack, whatever, blowout money, whatever, confidence will tell you that you have the courage to come back. I really believe that. And that's what I took out of that.
100%.
So let's bring it back to like traders that we're sort of dealing with, or people that we want to help out within sort of the Black Shirt Club and other traders. Sure. Say if they've recently blown an account, what are the top 3 tips for sort of building back that confidence that you would give them?
I'll give one. I think we each will give one. How about that? Top 3 tips to build back after blowing out an account or failing a funding challenge, something like that.
Yeah, whatever it may be. Something that's,
knocked them back. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, because I'm only going to pick one and then you guys will pick one. So I got to pick a good one. If I have to pick one thing as being the important thing to do when you're trying to build back, don't start trading again until you have accepted the loss. Because if you start trading before you've accepted that loss and you try to just chase the money back, you will go deeper into the negative. That is my tip. And that is the biggest difference maker, I think, for most people. James, what do you got?
Yeah, that's good. That's really good. I was going to say take a break. So that was a good one. So I will have to go with something else then. But I would say, honestly, I would say, start off trading small again. Whether you want to trade the live money that let's say you didn't blow the count, but you took a big loss, start trading small again. And you can't focus on what you've just lost, because it's happened. You can't change it. It's happened. You can't get it back. Yeah. What you can do is you can focus on what you can do in the future. So you can't focus on what happened in the past, but you can focus on how you react to it. You can't focus on what happened, but you can focus on how you can personally react to it. And I think that's a big key. So start off small and start building up again and building that self-confidence again, because you can control how you react to it. And if you react to it in the right way, you can make that money back tenfold, and it will come back sooner than you think.
Tom said he didn't even realize it. Yeah. Tom didn't even realize he made the money back until he checked his end of year P&L. And he was like, oh, I'm only down $5,000. I made it all back. He made all 500 back. not caring about it. Cause like I said, he let it go. And like you said, he traded small and built it back.
Yeah.
Great 2 points right there. What do you got, Tom?
I think for me, and the third point would be to bring it back to the process. So maybe sit down and have that session where you just say, right, this is what I'm going to trade. This is how I'm going to trade it. And this is what I'm going to do from a process perspective of the things that I can control that are then going to lead to the right outcome, which is obviously completely sort of random from an independent trade point of view, but over the long term is going to play out play out the probabilities in our favor. So just focus on the process for me.
And that's tough. That's tough though. After you get, you take a mean lick, that is not where everybody wants to go. So I think it's a mixture of all of this, right? It does not just do one of these. Take the break, get off the charts, consider sizing down, and then revisiting the process. 3 great tips. The problem is some people listening to this, unfortunately, don't have a process. They have no approach when they're trying to get funded or scale up. And that is why they continue to not pass the challenge, or they continue to give up funded accounts. So for those of you who that is, consider joining the Black Shirt Club. Consider joining ASFX. Take the courses. It's worked for Tom. It's worked for me. It's worked for James. It's working for hundreds of traders all over the world. So it'll probably work for you too. The Black Shirt Club, our program starts in 6 weeks, September 1st. After this, we'll do another program in January. Every 12 weeks or so, we're going to do a program. So if this one is full and you happen to be listening to this whenever, just go to asfx.biz/BSC for the Black Shirt Club. And that's where you can find out information on our next program. Everything that you get, all the comprehensive data tracking that we mentioned in here will be done in that program. So we'd love to have you. If you're a serious trader looking to scale up, looking to get funded like us, we're here to, I was going to say like the boys, but I am one of the boys. So I was like, us, we're here to help you guys. So thank you everybody for your time. Hopefully you found some value in today's video and a little motivation and a little drive for the rest of the week, maybe some real tactics here too. And like I asked at the beginning, please drop a comment. Let us know who you'd like to see on the show next. But Tommy boy, we appreciate you giving us the time. James, as always, my brother, thank you as well. And for everybody, thank you again. We'll see you in the next video.